Today, 43 drivers are lined up directly behind pole sitter Bobby Hamilton Jr. and rookie Kyle Busch. Now, Jeff Burton, Jamie McMurray, Michael Waltrip, and Matt Kenseth had an impressive list of Nextel Cup stars in today's race. Now, here's the command for today's race.
And now, race fans, please welcome back our Grand Marshal, Gregory Yusko, for those 3 most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines.
The engines have fired, and all of us at NBC have been waiting for this moment. It's time to go racing, and it's my pleasure to send it upstairs to the 3 guys that share the driver's seat. Yeah, it's a little crowded sometimes, but it makes it more fun that way. Alan Bestwick, Wally Dallenbach, and Benny Parsons.
Anytime you're in a passenger seat when Benny's driving, it's exciting. I can assure you of that. It's been a trend in the NASCAR Busch Series this season that's very different from last season. Last year, when Bobby Hamilton Jr. won here in Chicago, it was the first time all year long that a Busch Series regular won in a race where there were Cup drivers. Been the opposite this year, BP. 18 races, 5 Cup winners, 13 Busch Series winners. How about today?
And a Nextel Cup driver hasn't won since Texas. Yes, I think these Busch regulars can take the guys today. You know, we talk about Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch. These guys have won 7 times. Now, if we include Greg Biffle, you're right. We're going to count him a Busch regular because he has run every race. But for these 14 Nextel Cup drivers, Wally, it might be more running the race than trying to win today.
Yeah, these Cup guys they're out to have fun and they want to win, but they also want to edge on the competition tomorrow. So what they learn on the track today, they'll try to apply to their Cup cars tomorrow. So I think they'll give them a little bit of an advantage.
Maybe we can get a finish this week like they had last week down in Daytona. Guys being moved out of the way on the last lap. The guy that's 6th at the white flag wins the race. You never know. 300 miles to find out. NASCAR's back on NBC. Glad to be with you from Chicagoland Speedway. When we come back, the green flag in today's NASCAR Busch Series 300-miler. Bobby Hamilton Jr. is on pole position. Last year's race winner, dominated here a year ago, led 186 of 200 laps, and there are all those Nextel Cup guys surrounding him in those first rows of the grid. Nemechek, Kenseth, Harvick. Kyle Busch up there on the outside, though, one of the Busch Series regulars.
And there we see Casey Kane, who's been so hot in Nextel Cup this year in row 4. Greg Biffle, 3 victories. Todd Zegedy, his 2nd Busch Series start, last year's modified champion.
David Green will have to drop to the back end of the field. His team had to make an unscheduled engine change this morning. That's a violation of NASCAR's 1 engine per weekend rule. Martin Truex Jr., championship leader for Chance 2 Motorsports, the team owned by Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Teresa Earnhardt.
And there we see Jason Leffler on the outside of row 10. A lot of guys say this is the car to beat today.
Johnny Sauter, 27 car, also got to go to the back of the field for an engine change. Ron Hornaday in the 2 was winner at Milwaukee 2 races ago. He's going to come from inside of row 15. Justin Labonte, Terry's son, in row 17. And Mike Wallace, the Daytona winner, going to come from row 18.
Now we see the remainder, rows 19 through 21. Tina Gordon will start 42nd, and Steve Grissom, previous NASCAR Busch Series champion, will start 43rd.
Big crowd of cars here to try and get into this race. 50 drivers tried to make the 43-car field. And Wally, the first test of my math this year, that means that there'll be like 7 of them that had to go home.
Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you are right.
Wow, very good. And you see the drivers who have to go to the back, all because of engine changes. Matt Yoakum.
Alan Kevin Harvick starts in the 5th position. This will be his 2nd Busch Series start here in Chicago. He has 2 Cup wins, could have had a 3rd had he not run out of gas with 2 laps to go last year. His crew chief for today, Ricky Byers, expects fuel mileage to play a factor at some point. They chose a gear selection that should help with fuel mileage. But Harvick still told me he feels like not only does he have a top 5 car, but a car that can give the 25 a run for his money. To Dave.
Matt, Greg Biffle is 327 points out of the Busch Series championship chase right now, but his team still believes that they can win the championship. Talking to crew chief Todd Parrott this weekend, Todd told me, you know what? We only have to win 7 out of the next 17 races and average at least a 4th in the other 10, and we can still win this thing. We are not out of it. To Marty.
Well, Dave, last year in this race, Matt Kenseth finished second to Bobby Hamilton Jr. He said the only thing he needed to catch him was a rocket booster. Unfortunately, there is no rocket booster on the 17 car today, but the good news is he has the car that won at Texas. Also, yesterday in happy hour, the final practice, they ran 25 laps. Matt said, park it. I don't know what you can do to make it any better. The longer they run, the better they get. He said, as long as Hamilton Jr. doesn't jump out in front of us at a big lead, we will catch him in the long run.
And that could be a problem.
Yeah.
I think that's what Bobby Hamilton Jr. exactly going to do.
If you're a racing fan, a big racing fan, and you watched this race last year, they're predicting more of the same for the 25 car. But again, I think a lot of cars are better this time than they were last year.
That's why we run the race. You got to find out. A lot of things can happen.
And he's got to run 300 miles, and that is the first problem.
Mile-and-a-half track here at Chicagoland Speedway, so it'll be 200 laps to make up the 300-mile distance. A little bit better than $1.3 million on the line, and you see just a beautiful day. Heavy rainstorm last night. The fans had to work their way into some kind of soggy parking lots to get here today, but a good crowd has turned out, and they're about to see the 19th race of 34 in the 2004 NASCAR Busch Series campaign. Hamilton Jr. and Kyle Busch on the front row. The pace car is off. The fans are on their feet, and NASCAR on NBC 2004 is back under green.
Guys had a little trouble getting up to speed there.
Look at Kyle Busch hanging on the outside of Hamilton Jr. He wants to race him for that lead on this first lap.
That is a tremendous battle side by side, but Kyle now wisely backs off and goes in on the inside, gets that preferred line on the inside. Kenseth still on the outside, seems to be running pretty well.
This racetrack in the past has been known for that outside lane being a little bit slippery in the first part of the weekend.
Here we go.
Ooh. And Harvick in the 21 car wisely backed up and let those two
there we
cars.
go, one in trouble, turn one. Caution's out. It is Billy Parker in Rusty Wallace's 66. Caution flag is out, field immediately slows. And just a lap and a quarter before trouble for the Denver, North Carolina driver Billy Parker in his 11th NASCAR Busch Series start. He's kind of struggled here lately. This will be his fourth crash in the last 5 races. He is a rookie in the Busch Series, and he's trying to get the feel of what is a totally new type of racing to him, and it's been a little bit difficult in recent months.
It is very difficult. This is a brother of Hank Parker Jr., and he's been around racing for a long time. But you're right, it's trying to get started in this business is so tough.
I talked with Barry Dodson, the general manager of that team, this morning.
It's hard to tell exactly what happened watching the replay, but a couple of cars right behind him, I don't know if the contact was made or just simply pulled up behind him and got him a little bit loose, arrow loose.
And these cars are going to be probably a little bit loose at the beginning of this race. These cars normally want to go to the tight side, so you got to start loose.
Hey guys, you're working on the wrong side. I don't know how they're going to put fuel in that car. Looks like maybe they can.
If they remove that piece.
Yeah, if they just take the quarter panel off, but that's what holds the fuel filler.
Got another look at it here. That's just from Kenny Wallace's car.
Yep, he got a little bit loose getting into the corner. Exactly what happened. Got the car sideways and he got in that gray stuff.
And now we see why Kyle Busch wisely backed off going in turn 3 and went to the inside.
As I said, that outside lane can be a little slippery early in these races. It caught up to Billy Parker there. Caution early in the Twister 300 for the NASCAR Busch Series at Chicagoland Speedway.